Guess I should pick a different screen. All right, little dog. We got the two of the pit bull joining us. Hang on, baby. Oh, come on. Come on. That's Miss Tula, my pit bull. Oh, baby. Pretty girl. All right, doggy, I'm busy. All right. Come on, go. Go elsewhere. Dog, I love you, but you gotta go elsewhere. All right, I gotta open the computer up for this, so I will be right back. Just got a brief live this evening. And I really do not like that green screen. Can I change it? I want something different for a background. I don't know what. All right, that'll work. Pardon me. I've got to do some work on my computer. Not really work, I'm just doing a little research here. Hey, we got two of you. Fire up the personal confuser. We'll get a couple more people in here and I'll get started on this. Plus, as well, I want to have. Hey, what's up, Rosie Gamer? Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to pull up something on my personal confuser, also known as my laptop. I want to talk about Indian motorcycles for a little bit. And I want some information because I'm not going to try to go off the top of my head and talk out of my butt. Hey, from Aragon, right on. Sebastian Carrillo, Spain. Oh, okay, Carrillo. I guess I'm saying that right, Carrillo. If you're from Spain, I'm guessing. Anyways, I should have taken notes, but I've had a very busy day. And I decided to do this last minute. Everybody's talking about it. All right. Here we go. Check this out. All right. So a lot of motorcycle companies have been through this. We all know about the Harley Davidson AMF debacle. We know, the American motorcycle economy is kind of being weird right now. In my opinion, Harley Davidson is making bikes that are catering to certain people and not catering to their core fan base of what they like. Indian, a lot of people are digging their stuff, and I am too, to a degree. The thing I don't like about Indian motorcycles is my grandfather was an Indian fan, okay? And when he came back from the war, you couldn't get a Harley Davidson because obviously, I mean, he wanted a 45, a WL 45. That's what he rode when he served. You couldn't get one. All they had was, as he put it, all they had was that goddamn knucklehead, and it was a vibrator, and I didn't like it. Well, he liked his Indian, so he bought an older used Indian. Well, dig it. I've studied on the history of the original Tula. My dog's killing me here. She wants attention. Y'all got pit bulls? Want to see my pit bull? Come here. Come on, baby. Here, I'll bend the camera down. That's my little pit bull, Tula. Pretty girl. I can't do anything without her being right by my side, man. Okay, I'm going to talk about motorcycles, sweetheart. Yeah, you're a good girl. Okay, go. Anyways, he bought himself a used Indian, and go. He was a mechanic for the city of Pittsburgh motor pool for the police, and he worked on their bikes. Part-time job. He also worked for Pittsburgh Brewing at the time, and it's what it is. So, obviously, I'm interested in the history of Indian. An original one. Sleeping, still alive and energetic. Right on. An original one, dude, that's way out of my price range. Not happening. I'm looking at maybe. I mean, I could do it right now, but I think I'm going to wait maybe another year and see how things play out. But one of my recent videos was a veterans ride. I showed up to, I've never served in the military, by the way, but I showed up to throw some money in the bucket and show my support for the fellows that served tonight. And we met up at a Harley Davidson dealer, and I sat my fat behind on a 2025 Road Glide in pearl white, same color as my electric glide. And man, that bike was beautiful. I don't like the digital dash. I don't like all the ride modes, but I dig it. Now, comparable, I believe Indian calls it the Challenger, and this is real big, the competition between the two bikes, the battle of the baggers, right? Well, back in my pap's day, Harley and Indian raced, and Indian usually did eat their lunch on the track because they were a side valve engine. And the first few years of that overhead valve knucklehead, it took them a little while to get them to run a higher RPM and do what they needed to do, according to my grandfather, who passed away in 1996. But this is why I made this, okay? And I'm going to tell you why I'm now definitely not interested in Indian, okay? Polaris Incorporated has announced the sale of a majority stake in the Indian motorcycle private equity firm Carlwood LP. The separation allows Indian Motorcycle to operate as a standalone entity focusing on its industry dedicated team of 900 employees and major manufacturing facilities. This transaction is expected to be, I don't know what the hell fuck that word is. I'm a motorcycle mechanic. Okay. Approximately $50 million in adjusted to earnings per share, approximately $1 annually. Polaris will retain small equity in position of Indian Motorcycle, while Carlwood will take over the business, retaining more than 900 employees in engineering, design, and manufacturing. The sale is expected to close in the first quarter of 2026, pending customary approvals. All right, here is my deal with this. Being as my pap was an Indian fan, and me as a little kid first getting into dirt bikes, and I got my first street bike, he was still alive. And yeah, man, I'm good. And we talked about bikes and stuff. And when they first come out with the remake of the Indian, I want to say it was like 96, maybe 98. I can remember seeing it in motorcyclist magazines, Cycle World, Hot Bike. Back when you had paper magazines, I know some of you folks that don't have gray in your beard don't understand what a magazine is, but like when you're a teenager, you get the bike magazines and cut your little picture out of them and tape them on your wall. You guys don't get to do that; just hold it in your hand. But I was enamored with them. And then I started reading on them, and essentially they were powered, from what I read back then, now the first gen of them were powered by essentially an S&S Evolution Harley Davidson clone engine. And some of them had Baker transmissions. I think some of them had S&S transmissions. I want to say the frame was an S&S. It was essentially just a bike you could build from a catalog. But they had them big, cool, swoopy fenders. They had the styling. They even had the little pearl white Indian head on the front fender, and it lit up. And that was cool. I dig that. They probably couldn't get away with doing that now, but as a company, if you would produce something like that, I would buy it. Because since then, I have watched that company fail twice. I've watched them change everything. They went to that bottle cap engine. You're not going to... The bottle cap Indians, in other words, it's an overhead valve engine, but it is designed to look like a flathead. It's basically aesthetics. It looks like a flathead, but it's not. It's an overhead valve engine. They're getting extremely rare, man. And You ain't finding parts for one. Victory took them over, right? And Victory's bought out by Polaris. Polaris, different story, man. They have been making ATVs and snowmobiles since early 70s, late 60s. I do believe, I could be wrong. My history is more on two-wheel motorcycles. Some ATVs, I could tell you a lot about Honda history because I had a few Honda dirt bikes when I was a kid and I was a huge Honda fan. But this is my deal. If I had a choice between the two, the Indian Challenger or the Harley Davidson Road King, I'm going to go with the Harley Davidson Road King. Pretty simple, man. I know I can get parts for it. As long as S&S is around, and dude, as long as there's guys like me around, there's going to be S&S. It's an S&S carburetor on that bike. The pistons, the camshaft, they're S&S aftermarket. As long as S&S is going to be around, there's parts for Harley Davidsons. You can pretty much construct a complete 1936 EL knucklehead engine from aftermarket parts, be it S&S. There's a few of them, even the old flatheads. There was a company out of New Zealand, Flathead Power, I believe. They recasted 45 cases, and they're making heads and everything, and you can build these bikes right now, special construction unit. So I feel like if I was going to drop, you know, the Road Glide I looked at was basically stripped down. You know, you can go up to 50 grand if you want the CVO, which no, I don't want that. For me, it's going to be, you know, I don't even want the ride modes, dude. Leave it in sport mode. I'm good. Leave it wide open. I don't like none of that crap. Rider aids. I'm old school. That's what I ride. It still has a carburetor. You know, I have a fuel injected Harley, but there's no ABS, none of that. But we're looking at like 25 to 30 grand. Old school, graybeard. Buy a new bike. You're going to want to have it for 20 years or more. You're going to ride it until you wear it out, and you're going to rebuild it and keep on riding it. That's what Harley Davidson's all about. For me, anyway. Maybe your mileage varies, but for me, that's the allure of the Harley Davidson, especially the Evolution. Right there, you see the tappet blocks are replaceable. Bearings can be pressed into the cases. Press out the old ones, press in new ones. You can rebuild that engine over and over and over. Now, my twin cam, can you do that? Yes, but right there, the tappet blocks are cast in and are a part of the side case. So you technically have to get a new case. You can overbore them and run a bigger lifter. I put new lifters in mine. I didn't do it. I had a shop do it because we were in the middle of getting this place. I didn't have time and I had extra money. So I had a shop do it for me, and go ahead, put new lifters. What do the bores look like? The bores are fine, but your lifters show a little bit of wear. Cool, man. Just throw a new set of S&S lifters in it. You can buy that side case from S&S. So you can overbore it like twice if it wears out. Then you can buy a whole new side case. But can you find me a set of pistons for a Victory 8-ball? The original VC90, I want to say it was the VC92. They were a neat looking bike. They really were. Can you find me a set of connecting rods? Can you find me a camshaft? Brand new. Okay. This is one of the reasons why I got rid of my Yamaha Roadstar. That was a metric bike, and it was a great bike. I liked how it was designed. It was a single crank pin engine. It had that low end torque, very heavy flywheel, lumpy Harley Davidson-esque idle. It was carbureted. It vibrated just a little bit. It was a good bike, but a lifter and cam went bad. Dude, it took me 2 months to find new old stock on eBay because you couldn't get them. I could get them from 03 and up, and I can get a performance cam for the 1700, but the 1600, I couldn't get a camshaft. That bike sat for 2 months. So that's just one of my reasons why brand new bikes, I'm going to pick a Harley Davidson over an Indian. And just someone who is enamored with motorcycles, I have followed them for years and years. I dig the Indian vibe, man. I dig it because, you know, it was my pap's favorite brand. So naturally, it's going to be my favorite brand. You got to show me that the company's going to be around 20 years from now before I'm going to break off 20 25 grand. You just are. Harley Davidson will be around. They're having some troubles now. There's guys like, I'm not necessarily a diehard fan. I really like the Yamaha Eluder as well, and the Venture Eluder, I think they call it. I hope they still make it. I know they did in 2023. Last time I was looking at them, but we decided buying this house and the shop here was more important than buying a motorcycle. So, you know, that might be the next new bike. But my money, 20 years from now, Harley Davidson's still going to be here. As far as what they're doing on the track, I mean, who's to know? People have been hot rodding Harley Davidsons since Jesus left Chicago, right? So, you know, there's always going to be an aftermarket. The new ones are ridiculously powerful. Like, I was talking to somebody on one of my other videos. We were talking about forever bikes. His forever bike was the Honda VTX 1800. Well, dude, 100 horsepower, 120 foot-pounds of torque. And I'm thinking to myself, the 2025 baggers are running that much. Mind you, that VTX. One of my neighbors is being a dick or something. What's the deal here? No fucking respect. Don't they know I'm making a live? Shit. I don't know. They're joking around, beeping the horn and laughing at each other. But yeah, that's where I'm at, man. What's y'all's opinion? I'm not seeing a lot in the chat right now. What's your opinion on that? Harley, if you could pick one of the two brand new, Harley Davidson or Indian. You guys is just watching, you ain't commenting. All right, well, that's what I had to talk about this evening. So we've been live now for almost 18 minutes. We'll go to 20 minutes. It has been a ridiculously long day. We worked a 13-and-a-half-hour day, came home, cut grass, got showered up, and fired up live just to see what you guys are doing and who all was watching. I haven't even eaten dinner yet, so I think we're going to sign off on here. I think so. I was going to make this into a short, and I kind of wanted to, I'm playing with this green screen thing that you're seeing behind me. I kind of wanted to have like a split screen, half Harley Davidson, half Indian, and then, but when you do a green screen on a short video, mind you, look, gray beard, okay? I'm not very fucking tech savvy. Okay, I work with screwdrivers and shit, and ratchets and wrenches and gear pullers, and I can tune a carburetor and set a set of points. I'm just learning this computer shit, so give a homie a break here, will you? I just learned you could do this, and it's cool as shit, so I wanted to do a split, like half Indian logo, half Harley Davidson logo. I'd probably get dinged for copyright for that. That's another thing that does kind of annoy me with Harley Davidson stuff. Man, they put the logo on something inferior products sometime and they charge you 3 times. Like Milwaukee Leather Company is who makes their jackets, who makes their boots. I own a few pair of Milwaukee leather boots that the same exact boot as the Harley Davidson, and they're like $125. The Harley Davidson one that has the logo, $300. Well, look, dude. No, I spend enough money on your motorcycles and parts. Okay, I don't need to rock all the Harley gear. All right, folks. I'm going to eat me some dinner, and I'm going to do what you're doing. I'm going to go watch some YouTube and just chill out for the rest of the evening, because I have got to be up and out the door at 4 o'clock in the morning, and no rest for the wicked, but that's how I make my money, baby. Do me a favor, if you have not, that like button, that subscribe button, that notification button, all 3 of them, treat them like they owe you money and smash them for me, will you? Catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.